Alright guys, we have here a piece of deluxe bumper trim on a 63 and earlier slash rear bumper bus. As you can see, it's got some pretty heavy duty gouging in it. I did some research trying to find some of these. They are pretty expensive for the aftermarket ones. The original ones are just as expensive and not in very good condition. So I decided I'm going to try fixing this one. You could see, I don't know if you can see right here, it took a hit there, so it's dented in. Same with right here. There's a super deep gouge right here, and then all the way down here. The lighting isn't the best. I hope you can see that. There's a couple deep ones here, and where that dent is there. What we're going to do is we're going to grind those gouges out to get to clean aluminum, and then we are going to fill it by TIG welding, and then reshape that portion. Also, I'm going to pull these dents out to get it flat again and get it close enough to where I can reshape it. Once I reshape it, then I can hand sand it to the exact contour and then polish this thing up. There's no major pitting. There's a little pitting over here, but that should all sand out. But overall, other than this major gouge and these small gouges here, unfortunately it's not the later pointed style one where this would be reversible, because this side's in great shape. But is what it is. I'm going to have at it. I'll set you up, and then we will go for it. Here was the dent. You can see it's no longer dented in. Basically, I just used as you saw, a long screwdriver and a drill bit for a leverage point or a fulcrum. Leveraged off of this so I didn't crush that other lip. It pulled it right out. There's that one. And the other one was right here. So, now I'm going to use the Dremel tool, grind these out, the gouges, so I got clean aluminum, and then we are going to fill it up. Red Scotch Brite. Alright, cleaner the better. When you're welding aluminum, it's imperative that you have clean material. Especially, you know, if you're like me, a novice at doing this, then the cleaner the better. That way there's less complications, but that should work out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this one here. I'm going to set up the TIG welder, fill that one, then work my way down on that, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, worst case scenario, I got to buy a new one anyway, right? So let's do it. Alright, I have the TIG torch. I do have the electrode kind of far out, but what I'm going to do is I got it on DC positive. I have this sharpened as if I were going to TIG weld steel. What I will do is I'll tap my foot on the pedal, touch the aluminum, and this should draw this electrode in and kind of give it a little ball at the end. Because with aluminum you have to dissipate the heat in a wider area in order for it to melt together. So let's give it a shot. Hopefully that'll focus in on that, but I think that's a success. I'll shorten up the electrode a little bit in the TIG torch, and then we're good to go. Alright, I switched the welder to AC. Have my filler rod. Shorten the electrode. Place your bets. Let's see how this goes. Wasn't the smoothest, but at least it filled it. Gave me something a little proud so I could sand down to fill up that blemish. So now I'm going to try going down a long ways. Alright, as ugly as it may seem, I think that'll work. The smaller scratches I could sand out. But as long as that long scratch, or maybe a little more, I may need to touch up real quick. I kind of burnt in. So I'll touch that up real quick and then grind it back into shape. Sorry about the compressor noise. And the lighting. Let me turn you around. Maybe the lighting will be better this way. There's what it looks like roughed in. It's got somewhat of the contour. Now I'll hand sand it into shape and we'll go from there. Alright, I'm gonna hand sand. I wanted to show you these though. My weekend activities usually consist of estate sailing. I went to a gentleman's house who had he was a retired engineer, so on his free time he was building model airplanes and trains, but he had a bunch of these sanding blocks. So this is called a tadpole. So I'm going to start with this with 40 grit, go to 80. I'm trying to get the general shape right now, and then I'll go to 80, and then down the line 150, 220, 320, 400 or maybe 500, and then polish it out. So here we go. Alright, I just wanted to see where we're at. Again, let's go this way so we got backlighting. Alright, this is sanded, hand sanded with 80 grit, and the tadpole, and then also I had this one too. It's basically that contour, and that's what's getting me a smooth edge here. You can use a regular block, you just got to be careful and go multiple directions and don't sand flat spots. But this one is going to have a little flat. I don't know if you can see that right here. I can't sand that out. And then right here, this is why it is important to have the aluminum cleaned, because that's a flaw in the weld. I won't be able to get rid of that, but it's pretty puny. But it still needs more sanding. There's a couple little dingers there. But compared to what it was, now it's sand 150, 220, 320. I'm trying to save you from boring you with the details of the hand sanding, but I'll keep you checked in. Alright, here we go. This is fully sanded. I'll try snapping a before picture. But this was after about 3.5 hours of sanding. Now gauge your time accordingly. Whether this is worth it to you or not, I have no idea. To me, being kind of on lockdown during a global pandemic here, I figure I'd try to save me some money and work on my Volkswagens. Hope everyone's okay out there with this shite going on. As you can see that, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go through the polishing procedure. Black oxide, brown tripoli, white diamond, hand polish, and see if this baby shines up and how it looks. And then we'll show you then. Alright, well, it bucked right here. Put some pretty decent dingers in it. You see that one's real deep. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. So, you know, again, you just gotta be very careful. I'm putting a lot of pressure on this, on the wheel. So it's going to want to, see, there's another one. It wants to pull it out of your hand, and it pulls it pretty quick, and it'll come up, and it hit on the threads. That's where that one came in. This flatter one here, hit on the shaft of the buffer. So in the future, I think I'm going to get some rubber hose and put it on here to kind of protect it, and maybe rubber hose down the shaft so when it hits it's a little softer. It's inevitable, it's going to want to pull it out of your hands, but I just had to go back and re-sand it. So temporarily I put duct tape on there. I don't know what that's going to do, but it may, at least if it does it again, alleviate that deep gouge and just give me something I can sand out and repair. But for now, we're going to finish buffing it with the black to get the new sand scratches out, and then continue on to make it shine. Alright, final product. I had to take you offline there for a minute because the soft wheel with the white diamond grabbed it and put a significant dinger right here. It's not significant anymore because I sanded it out, so there was a lot of F-bombs going on and a lot of foul language not appropriate for YouTube, that's for sure. But this is after buffing. And you can see the reflection in there. I mean, it turned out pretty good. There are a few flaws. Right here, there's a flaw. Right here, this was crushed in and dented, but it came out pretty good. These were my mistakes. That one there was my mistake. Same with this one. You just got to remember, the pressure you apply is the harder that wheel's going to want to pull it. And what was happening is on the soft wheel, the wheel doesn't have the density when you apply the pressure. So as I was applying pressure, it would fold, pull it, and then it would fold, pull it, and then smash it right there. So you have to be cautious about the pressure you use. Now this may seem, trivial to be showing you, how to buff a piece of aluminum, but considering, 20 years ago, restoring these buses, you could do it relatively cheap. Now this piece if you could find it, is, you know, I don't know, 100, 200 bucks, if you could find it. So, you know, with some time and effort, we can, you know, save the original German parts, put them back, and you save money. Because, word to the wise, when restoring these buses, it's not the big things like buying the motor, buying the wheels, the paint job that halts projects. It's the small things. It's having to spend 200 bucks on a piece of trim. It's having to spend, you know, hundreds of dollars on hardware. You know, gauge pods or the gauges. You know, it's all the small little stuff that add up that get you to the promised land of a finished project. And if you don't save money, unless you're independently wealthy, of course, but like most of us, if you don't save money where you can, then, you know, it may stall your project. So, by polishing your own trim and restoring things that can be fixed, you know, you could save yourself enough money, which you could put in the budget to buy that motor, to finish that paint job, to buy metal, you know, or whatever you need, because you don't have to rebuy this thing, which seems pretty trivial. It's a little trim piece for a deluxe bus, but, you know, go out and find one. Good luck. Anyway, you know, I hope this helps. You know, the small little things and that you and I could do to save these buses. You know, I hope it helps. You know, and I always bid you luck and, you know, good health in times like this. So, that would be it. Please like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. You know, this project is going to continue. It's now in the paint shop, and we're going to be installing the suspension. So let me know what you want to see, because I'll be filming as much as possible. Again, I appreciate you watching. You know, good luck on your project, and please stay healthy, and think about others too.